Hey guys, Captain Tigers here, back with another tutorial. I recently became a top runner for this game, and I kind of wanted to give back and make a beginner tutorial for this category. I noticed some newer runners are coming in, and there wasn't necessarily a baseline for strats for several stages, and I feel like that needs to change a lot, because the tutorials out right now are kind of haphazard and very in terms of quality, and that's kind of inconsistent, so I plan to change that today. The goal of this tutorial is to kind of get you through your first run, and if I feel like a strat saves enough time, I'm going to cover it. And the route that I'm going to be using for this category is Tone's route, and I'll explain that more when I actually get into the game. Some things to cover before you actually start. Language. So there's 3 different regional copies of Splatoon. There's the NTSC copy, the PAL copy, and the Japanese copy. You just use... Now, language does matter a little bit in OE, but it's not significant enough compared to, like, Japanese and Splatoon 1 to really warrant buying it. But mostly the advice is just switch to the language on your copy, which is the fastest. So for PAL, that would be Italian, and for Spanish, or for the NTSC copy, that would be Spanish. So how would you do that? Well, you go all the way to the bottom to System, go to Language, and then you switch that to Espanol. So, and then you wait for the system to restart, and then you're good. What else? So, profiles. So you see here I have several different profiles. How do you get these profiles? Well, again, go to System Settings, go to Users, and I have max profiles here, but there should be a plus button. You can go through the process of setting up another profile, and make sure not to link an NSO account to it. You will get the rotation notifications more consistently, and you're not really using online with that profile. So just go set it up, as normally as you would, but just don't connect NSO, and you should be fine. And mostly you're going to be using these other files for your other attempts. And then when you're done, you go to delete save data, go to your game, and then you can delete the individual save files for these profiles. So, like, for me, this is my casual file, this is my hero mode 8% practice file, and these are my attempts that I do. And you just go to here, and then click delete. Be kind of careful of this, because I have seen other people kind of gotten screwed over by it. Last thing to note before I get into this is the copy of the game you have doesn't, physical or digital, it doesn't really matter too much with this game. The loads in OE are kind of static, so you won't be too hard-pressed about that, which is a good thing. So, we're going to start system update. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing I forgot to mention, is that you do not want to be connected to the internet when you do attempts. Even if you do not have Nintendo Switch Online, you will still get the rotation notifications, an explanation about Splatfest. So try not to have that enabled. You can either unplug your LAN adapter, DC from your wireless network. If you don't have a LAN adapter, you can use airplane mode. I'll link methods for those in the description of this video. So, mainly, it's going to save time. The language change is going to save time on mashing in the beginning section of the game, as well as a little tiny text box right before phase 1. So, it's pretty much negligible everywhere else. So you're going to not see anything for a second, but it's going to come back on. Alright, now after all of that, after all that, you can go to Wooden and Cloud and actually start. And when you start a profile, you're just going to go through the tutorial, mash all the text, and you'll be dropped into the plaza. And you can select OE. And you can either go to OE by going to the tunnel in the top right of the screen, or you can just click a button, click about 2 buttons and go, input about 2 directions, and you'll be in OE in no time. Yeah, you'll see since I don't have the internet connection, I can just go straight to the plaza, and and I've already gone through the tutorial in this file, so. And I will I will explain when time ends and begins. Actually, I know you can change your sense. You plan where it sticks or not. Definitely try to learn motion. It makes this game easier if you can. Besides that, let's get into it. So, time begins when you press yeah to create your Octoling, so the right option. And time ends when the banner, the green tape banner, appears at the end of the final section of the game. After the 3-minute auto scroller. So, let's get going. So I'll try to cover the route when I actually get to the metro map. Another thing to note is that you can change your camera settings also within the game itself, but most people tend to do change their camera settings before they actually enter the subway, because time doesn't start obviously until then. You're just gonna walk forward, go through that turnstile, and make sure to swim in these pools of ink. Swimming is faster than walking, so it's good for him. And there you go. That was some pretty decent RNG. Now we're beginning in the first section of gameplay. So the basic mechanics of this game is obviously, yeah, again, swimming is faster than walking, and also you can do a short hop and a really big jump. So for this pool of ink here, you're just gonna hold the B button so you can go out with as much distance as you can. Kind of keep a straight line here, so you can get to this, hit this, and do a full jump out from here. Press A, and now we're getting to the first kind of skip in the game. It's called my hash race near launch, I think. So there's 2 ways to get up here. Actually, 3 ways. You can go to the right here, take the geyser, and do this, and hit that crate to get the key. Or you can go to the left, go about here, so I can get up here, and aim a bomb. Oh wait, a bomb right there. So that method saves about 3 seconds over going to the right, I believe. Or if you're crazy enough, you can do this. So everything just takes practice. The main thing for the bomb grappling skip is you need to make sure the bomb arc touches that, like that, and we'll hit it every time. So do what you want. Whatever method you find the easiest, just try to implement. Hopefully that wasn't too horribly explained. Mostly I'm just trying to give options to the people that are watching this. Not so much going on here. I might cut out some of the more auto-scrolly or seconds. There's just a bunch of mashing, but just mash through all this text as fast as you can. And you'll mash A right at the end to pick up your key items for the metro. This metro adventure. I would say the beginning of the 80% is kind of a slow tempo. It starts to pick up as you get towards the end of the game. Lock top left, then flick your camera so you'll get into that train a little bit faster. And soon we're going to get into the next full stage of gameplay. After all of that, you're going to press a different button. You're going to press X to open the map. Actually, about 3 text boxes, or 2. And then go up. Yeah, that was 2. I just miscounted. Really used to the amount of text boxes that you do have to mash through as you get better. You might miss menu like this, but you'll get over it. Anchor around, and jump to enter the turnstile. So this level you're given a splatter shot, which is kind of the basic, everyday man's gun, and a splat bomb. And I'll try to remind the audience which weapon and sub-weapon you have for the beginning. So, right here, there's going to be, try to ink the ground twice. Right here, there's going to be an enemy that spawns on top of there. Or starts to spawn there, and then he'll spawn behind those crates in the top right. So what you want to do to get him is throw a bomb right there before the cutscene trigger. It's a little bit past that tree. You can either do 2 methods here. You can throw a bomb if you're confident enough, like so. A little bit faster. It's about 1 second faster than just shooting him. I like the bomb throw because I'm pretty consistent with my aim, and shot RNG can tend to screw you over with the gun at times. So if you want to go for the bomb setups, you're more than welcome to. Here you're going to enter a room. There's going to be a cargo roller. It spawns right there. And the rally guy that's going to spawn in that left area. I'll try to demonstrate the shoot strats. That was not a shoot strat, but that was still pretty close. Yeah, basically you just go right up to that guy and shoot him, and then you would go around this pillar and try to get this guy around the tree. Don't shoot at the relish shield for too long, otherwise he's going to keep it up or launch it. That's going to waste a little bit of time, so try to go around him or wait. And also, after you kill this guy, if you look too early at this guy, he'll spawn all the way at that tree instead of this tree. So it's not RNG. It's just based on positioning and where your camera is located. So this guy can be kind of weird. I'm not going to demonstrate bombing him because I feel like it's too advanced of a strat and saves too little time to go over, so I'm not going to go over the setup here. There's 2 things you can do. You can either use the splashdown to kill this guy, or you can just throw down a bomb and then shoot him. And I feel like the throwing a bomb down and then shooting him is kind of self-explanatory, so I'll try to do the splashdown strat if the game allows me to. Cutscene trigger is about here. So, really aiming just comes down to practice. There you go. Stay out there and you should be good. And these data points, they're at the end of every stage, and if you have a sub-weapon, you can't... If you have a sub-weapon, just throw a bomb, you'll one-shot that, and there you're good to go. You are good to go. Yeah, really obvious stuff, like shooting an enemy, I'm not really going to cover. But pretty much, that Inkjet guy can either dodge roll to the left or right, and he'll do it based on your position relative to him. So if you're on the left side, he'll dodge roll to the right, and vice versa. So just try to react, and jump if you have to. If he goes super high in the air, sometimes he can hide behind the trees. It can be a bit of an annoyance. More tech smashing. Once this is done, I'll try to explain the routing for this game and how it works. Okay, so remember the route that I mentioned earlier, Tone's route? So pretty much what that is you go 2 stages on the left side and get rid of the 8-ball stage, which is 1 stage beyond this, and then you start right side, normally. Mainly, the 8-ball stages are pretty frustrating for beginners when they first start out, and getting those out of the way, getting the quote-unquote harder stages out of the way at first is a nice little bonus with this route. Albeit you lose a little bit of time to menuing, but it's nothing too significant if you just want to go for consistency. And whatever route you use, it doesn't matter, because every time you get a Thang on one of the sides, either left or right, it'll respawn you at the beginning of the map here, the metro, or the train station. So, do whatever you see fit. I do the Death Abuse route in 80%, which is highly unorthodox and not worth it because you do Matchmaster last, and that can be kind of stressful, even for me. So, do you wish. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to cover Tone's route. So we're just going to go left here and do this stage. Now, A04 probably has some of the easiest jumps in the game. And a lot of this stage is just little skips of platforming sections and having good movement. So as long as you have decent experience with the baller and know when to jump, you should be fine. So when you immediately enter the stage, just walk forward and mash A. I'll try to walk through all the jumps that I can. Jump here immediately, and then jump again. Be sure to hold the B button a tiny bit so you don't fall. If you do a short hop too early, you'll actually fall or not make it at all. Hold left here, you can make a little jump there. It's kind of weird. If you go around the normal way, you should still be fine on the cycles coming up. Jump up here. Jump again. Hold up in the analog stick, and then turn your camera left. It's kind of a weird jump, but it's actually not that bad. Now, with super optimal movement, you should get the left side cycle here, but it's kind of hard, and it's really hard to be here early, so it only stays about 1 second, so I wouldn't recommend it. I suggest just going for right side. So I maybe could have gotten it there, but I want to go for it. And when you're at the apex of the boost pad jump here, you just want to hold ZR so you explode the baller as you're near touching the ground, so it will instantly explode the data point. Like so. And there you go. That is A04. No text here. Then we're going to be getting into probably the skip that saves the most time in early game, and that's Seesaw Skip, which, depending on how confident you are with 8-ball movement, I would not recommend. It varies between runners. I know a new runner where she didn't learn Seesaw Skip until she had about a 115 or a 116 90%, because she hated it so much. But it varies between players. I've known players who are more new that get it pretty consistently, so honestly depends. So moving the 8-ball is pretty much purely based on movement, and where your cursor is relative to the ball is where it'll go. In here, you just want to make sure you kill that guy. If you shoot as it's falling down the hill, it'll one-shot that guy. You don't have to kill that guy right there, as long as you do a wall reset. And what do I mean by that? Well, you see, if I shoot this on the wall, it'll reset its position. That's really key, especially for this, where I don't have enough range of my gun, and I want it to go top right, so I'll bounce it on the wall, then shoot top right, and I can send it into this little corridor without too much trouble. That's another wall reset technique. And this elevator section can be kind of weird, but basically you just want to bounce against the pillar here once, shoot once to stop it, and get up the elevator. This entire wall is on an incline, so you just want to shoot left and follow the line of credits. Make sure you got it here. Make sure the ball is centered before you shoot it on the slope. Now we're at the end. So there's two different methods for completing the stage. You can either do Seesaw Skip, which I think first try saves about 45 seconds, or you can do the Intended Strat, where you blast an 8-ball with this balloon onto the Seesaw. I will cover Seesaw first because it's a bit more simple to explain. But basically, you just want to make sure you get the lineup, make sure you get it centered, and when the yellow sticker passes the top of the ball, you just want to shoot in the center, like that. Don't be too... Make sure you get the lineup. You don't really need to go for fast setups or anything like that, anything crazy. Just make sure to go for consistency. And when you're done, just make sure you go to the end. And shoot it into that goal. Now, if you have trouble with this, you can do the Intended Strat instead. You can still hit 720 without it, or without that skip, so yeah, it's up to you. I will show you the movement, though, for the quote-unquote Intended Strat, which, I don't know. Seesaw Skip being intended is a bit debatable, so you just want to get it into that ring, and wait for this elevator to go up. Kill that guy. Make sure you can get here safely. Get the key, drop down. Make sure that's down before you hit the balloon. That's a big mistake I see. Because this setup does take a while, so you definitely don't want to mess it up. So I would say if you mess up Seesaw Skip, more than 3 times, do the Intended Strat. Another little perk to wall resets or wall bounces is if you miss that goal near the end, you can bounce it against the wall, and if you angle it correctly, it will go into the goal by itself, even if you're kind of far away. So, and we're gonna unlock a new line. It's gonna take us out of the map since we unlocked a new line. Well-known fact. Little text message from Marina. Doesn't really matter too much though. Now we're gonna go right side again. And that basically gets rid of the 8-ball stage on left side immediately, and then you can start the rest of the game. The stage you have a bomb, but you really only use the bomb for the data point at the end. Shoot the ground. And basic mechanic with bounce pads. So bounce pads in OE are a little bit different. In hero mode, you can chain a short hop into a long hop, and you would keep your speed. But doing a short hop first, in either context, in this stage, does not really give you any momentum. It doesn't give you any chained bunny hops. So mainly you just want to use short hops for getting over short ledges or short structures. Mainly you just want to be abusing full hops or holding the B button as much as you can. Don't hold anything. Just do a short hop. 1. Hold the B button. Do another one. Don't hold anything. Pull up. You can go across this gap. Save a little bit of time on the cycle near the end. Paint the wall. That edge is in linked. That edge is in inked here, so just be in squid form or kid form for a little bit, then go back to squid form. Be sure to get the key. It's fine if you step on that. Just make sure to get on this sponge. Don't have to jump there. A lot of people jump there for safety, but it's fine. You'll just be on the ledge anyway, so. You can kill this guy one of either 2 ways. You can either do an indirect into a direct or throw a splat bomb. And throwing a splat bomb can actually be faster because it actually de-aggroes him. after his first shot, like so. Just want to stay on the right so you don't get shot. For the first bomb, it's actually you can de-aggro him completely, you can just go to the cannon here. So if you played Samurai, this is the same kind of thing as that, so if you're experienced with Samurai, you'll have an easier time. Basically, the cannon projectile has a lot of fall off, and you have to lead your shot a tiny bit. And the 3 lines in the cursor can be a good help. So basically you want to aim for the light fixture right there. Have the top of the cursor hit that light fixture, and it should send the fan distance the full way every time. You can just do a full jump, and you'll barely land on it, and you'll be good. This comes over to you, just do a full jump. Ink this a couple times, and you can jump here. Oh, if you didn't send the fan the full distance, it usually means you shot too far away from the fan with the projectile. So. Make sure the line is clear before you start jumping and throw a bomb to end stage. Gotta drink some water when I'm doing this. No text after this? Oh, I forgot. This is a different route. So, when you enter AO7, you're going to get this little text box explaining what Isopadre is. But you won't really need to talk to him in this category at all, so just kind of mash through it. Now, because Inkjet Skip saves so little, I don't recommend doing it until you at least have a sub 120 in any percent, or a 115. Yeah, you don't need it for a while. So I won't cover it here, but if you are interested in learning it, I have a dedicated tutorial on my YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description, but for now, I will mention it for the sake of simplicity. So yeah, just make your way right, go across the scab, take the checkpoint, switch. Now there's 2 ways to actually make towards the elevator. So you're gonna go here, like that. Pretty easy. Or, if you're daring enough, you can do this. So basically you want to delay the boost by a tiny bit. When the crosshair lights up, shoot. Pretty much that shot just comes down to practice. Also, some HI mechanics I want to cover is you move faster when you're not shooting. So try to shoot as little as you possibly can. Hit that switch to go over the elevator. Hit that switch to activate the platform, and you should be good. So notice how I slow down significantly when I am shooting? So you just want to maintain that momentum as much as you can. And general HM movement is pretty hard to get used to at first, but if you play multiplayer at all, it can be kind of jank. Especially the boss fight, because the boss fight can, I don't know. If you never play multiplayer, the practice will be kind of frustrating at first, but you'll get it over time. And just shoot that data point to end the stage. If you have played multiplayer, online seriously at all, I shouldn't really have to explain the mechanics of it too much. And sometimes you'll enter the wrong stage like I did. That's fine. Only wasted about 15. So what happens when you do this happens? Well, select the weapon and go back. Again, you'll know when to go right or left. And now we're going to be going into the next 8-ball stage. And this is a lot harder, I think, for most people. I'll try to make it simple. This is the stage with, multiple weapons in it, so you get the little text box. Just go through it. Reverse bomb with the ground to get to the turnstile, and get this out of that tower. You can either kill that guy before you hit the ball, or you can either shoot the ball into him. The most common death I see here is people will angle the ball too far right or left, and the enemy will actually shoot the ball off of the platform. You'll have to restart. Pull up. Shoot the ball a lot. It's going to skip that little downslope section. If you move fast enough, those guys won't hit the sponge that you're under, like that. Wall reset, stop the ball by bonking your head into it. And this is kind of weird. You just want to angle it right, do some single shots, shoot it. Sometimes it won't bounce in the wall at all, but you want to make sure you have a safety net when you're trying to make that gap. So, try to shoot it. Kill this guy. Kill both of these guys. The movement to skip those two guys is kind of difficult, so I'll just kill them for now. Only wastes about 2 seconds. Make sure you know where the ball is going. Across this gap. Throw a burst bomb to get around this corner. I kind of failed there. Now, this ending section, I don't think it's RNG. It does have slight RNG to it, especially sometimes the enemies will actually stop the ball for you. And I guess that can be luck-based, but 95% of it is execution, pretty much. The old strat that people used to do here for a really long time is they threw a burst bomb after the ball landed to kind of stabilize it, but actually, if you do it correctly, this strat can make the ball go farther and actually stop it about halfway through the arena. So stand out here, wait for the spawn pad to explode, and flick left. What it's going to do is it's going to stop the ball as it's going to barrel through that enemy, which is going to slow down its speed, and then you're going to hard flick left, and it's going to basically stop it from bouncing on the wall, because you're flicking it, so it's going to kill all those 3 enemies in the beginning. Kill these 2 guys. Your big goal is to not have the ball bounce on the wall. If it does, like this, it's fine. Just stop it like that. Takes a bit of practice. Don't be one of those people that just kind of slowly force it into that tunnel at this bounce between the 2 walls. Try to stop it first, because your biggest priority when you're in here is to guide the ball as close to the wall as possible so you can shoot it in immediately. And if that means, you know, taking the time to kill an enemy so they don't shoot a bullet into this, you know, the more the better. A little small mechanic I didn't mention is that if you shoot while right under the ball, it'll accelerate to max speed. Its max speed a lot faster. But you shouldn't really worry about that too much when you start out. Because that was still a pretty solid stage, even without that tech. Really, it's just about movement. It's pure movement. Also, if someone talks in chat, I can't respond to you because I'm trying to keep it professional. So yeah, again, we discovered the line. Mash X to get back in the map, and we're going to be getting into the limited ink stage. Kind of a weird gimmick. You only have a limited amount of shots in your ink tank, so you kind of have to make sure you don't, you know, mindlessly shoot, or else you'll die. I'm going to be covering some easy strats, so just jump, walk down, ink the right side here, wait to go up. Like this. If you actually walk towards this guy, you'll force him off. Like that. Make sure your feet are inked before you jump. This robot guy can be kind of annoying when he turns, and then ink the right side. Again, the boost pad. And then you're gonna go on the side of the sponge there, so you don't alert the guy, the little Octo commit, little, I don't know what you call that guy. Helicopter guy? I'm not sure. Then you just wait. Don't try to play it risky here. Shoot the lid, and you're good to go. Well, the tutorial is getting okay so far. I might have to edit some stuff out, but you know, it happens. and... Or, wait, did I say the left side? I'm a dumbass. The right side. So you can actually take the left side there, but it only saves about 5 seconds. And the movement is kind of hard at first. I wouldn't recommend it. Alright, this stage catches a lot of beginners off guard because they don't really know what the cycle strats are. Because once you immediately enter the stage, the global cycle will start. And you need to be on your toes. So I'll try to cover some backups and generally what the game plan is for this stage. You're going to want to go left and select the jet. And go around and jump into the turnstile. Okay, so your goal is you want to get the bottom ring of boxes in the beginning, so you can just go to the top without any issues. So you see the big crate right in front of me. So when that big crate touches the little crate in the front, you want to aim your cursor top right and just hold it there. And what this is going to do is it's going to reduce the amount of shot RNG and make it fairly consistent. Kind of like this. Get that? Sometimes you can get that crate up there. I think I got it. But if you don't, it's fine. Try to get the little square, the little crate, on the left side of that circle there. Hit that. If you're too far away to get that crate on the side, it's fine. You can just wait. And make sure you just go to the top. And try and do the movement. It's kind of hard to explain this stage, even in a tutorial. Now I'll try to cover some backups in case you miss at least one of them. You know, what would you do? Because you're not going to get all those crates first try. Even at top level. Mostly because of shot RNG or something. Gonna try and intentionally miss one of the crates to illustrate what I'm saying. And mostly, with the strats as a beginner, you should try to be getting high 30s to low 40s. High 30s is probably more reasonable, or a mid 30, because your aim probably isn't super developed yet, so... So what if you miss that? Let's say you miss that. What we do. So if you missed the crate on the bottom there, right before this, you would flick to the bottom left and hit that. And if you missed a crate in the front, you would monitor the left side here and hit that. Like that. That's still pretty good. And I missed a couple. It's really all about adaptation and knowing where the crates are at all times. Hopefully those are some of the two backup strats. The two backup strats were explained well. If you have any more questions about that, you can ask me on my stream. So, this is another kind of break the target stage. And you want to choose the Octobrush. It's probably the most consistent and the easiest to handle. And you have... every weapon is a curling bomb. But Octobrush probably has the most DPS out of any of the weapons, so it makes getting the crates a lot easier. So yeah, curling bomb in the beginning. And mostly you just want to brush run the entire time. Don't stop to flick unless there's a tower of crates. So make sure you stay on the line and hit as many crates as you can. Turn the camera, pick up the sink tank. After this crate, throw a curling. Do a full hop. Hold B on that. Bouncy pad so you don't die. Mash. See all those. Brush run into the ink rail. Flick twice so you don't miss these. You jump down, hit that. Flick once. Down up. And then get this. That was kind of bad because I had bad movement in the middle section. But you should be getting mid 4s to low 5s on average. Well, IGT. Because rush running is definitely really important because it keeps your speed a lot Alright, on to Girl Power, I'm going to try to give a recommended order you should do the enemies in. So, for this stage, you're given 3 different sub-weapons to use in the beginning. Really, the only two sub-weapons people use is the Swap Bomb and the Curling Bomb. The Swap Bomb is not faster for going across the middle. It's mostly just makes getting the super jump spawns easier. It makes getting them easier. You know, if you don't have the best aim. Even second place currently uses Swap Bombs for Girl Power, and it is an auto-scroller, so it doesn't save too much time. But if you're me, you're going to use switch to the curlings, go to the right 2 times, and go across the ground. So there's a bunch of weapons you can choose from. Choose the one that's the easiest and most consistent for you. So don't choose like Charger or something, or Blaster. I mean, you know, hell, if you want to use Blaster, go ahead if it's easiest for you. But mostly people are going to use the 3 weapons in the straight line here. So either Roller or Splatter Shot is the most common. For my purposes, I'm going to try to demonstrate Splatter Shot. So throw a curling here, pick up the Splatter Shot at the end. Make sure to pick up the armor at the beginning here, and the Inkjet. The Inkjet will be used to prevent snowball situations in case too many enemies get the power core. Pick up the armor. This guy's going to spawn in, jump with the crates, kill him. You actually shoot the guys a bit earlier to make them super jump, and it makes phase 1 a lot faster. Shoot left. Go right. And kill this guy. If you lose your armor, it's fine. Just be sure to pick up the armor towards the end of the wave. The reason I do the Relic guy second is because the shield can be kind of weird. He can actually shoot through the shield a little bit when it's down. So, you know, and those pellets do a lot of damage, so I kind of like to go around him. Like so. Go behind him, but I also have some armor there, so I'm just going to get this crate, or not that crate, that armor for safety. And this guy's going to spawn at about 45 seconds, the bucket. And each enemy has a different special that they can use to make your life harder, so I try to prioritize those guys first. If you had a Swap Bomb, you just prep the Swap Bomb right as he super jumped in. Throw a Curling Bomb down on the ground. Kill this guy. And honestly, you know, Curling Bomb, you're saving free time in an auto-scroller, so, you know, I don't know why you wouldn't use it. But mostly it's just about what you're comfortable with. It's gonna be best for the stage at the end of the day. So yeah, kill that guy in the front, the Splash Shot guy, and then go to the right, kill the Blaster. This guy's gonna spawn top right, kill him, and go to the right, kill him to the left. And this guy has a Stingray. The Stingray doesn't do too much damage, but the Carbon can be kind of annoying to hit because of his high mobility, so I like to get him first. This guy has a Bomb Rush, the dualies, you definitely do not want him breaking through. So definitely get him as quickly as you can. And even if you let this guy live, he won't really do anything. Even if he splash outs, you can just leave him alive. And only fine. Then you'll be fine. He won't do anything too nerve-wracking. And there you go. That's the order for Girl Power. Almost at the end of this, so the next 2 stages are going to be kind of long. So I might have to cut them down a minute. Alright, so mainly these next 2 stages are why I'm making a tutorial, because knowing a route and strats for these stages can save a lot of time considering how long the cutscenes are. So you don't need Rapid Blaster, which is the faster option for this stage, until you have about a 115 and 90%. It's very hard to get used to at first, and you mostly save time by going fast and hitting collateral shots. If you're not hitting collateral shots, you're probably losing more time. So you don't need that. You can definitely get 720 without it. But for now, we're going to be using Squeezer, so ink to ground, and we're getting into Matchmaster, which is a pretty long stage for newer players. And you definitely want to take your time. So, two different mechanics of the Squeezer I want to try to explain is when you tap the button, you'll get a single shot, and it has a lot of range, as you see here. But it chugs through a lot of rank if you spam it. See, now I'm out. But if you hold the button, there's a little bit of a lag animation, but you have a little bit less range than the tap shot, but you save a lot more rank, and it's a lot faster fire rate. So I'll try to explain how that applies to this stage. So basically you want to hit all of the orange crates to make it look like the statue on the left. If you even hit a single brown crate, you're dead. So try to make sure your aim is a bit... Try to make sure your aim is confident. Now, how this applies to Matchmaster is you want to use the tap shot for crates that are far away, and auto fire for crates that are really near. And the one risk this does carry is that the auto fire does have a bit of shot RNG, so one shot might infect the crate next to it, and if you hit a crate too many times, so if I shot that one more time, it would die, and it would probably respawn at the beginning. There is a checkpoint you can activate with a key, but it's kind of slow, so you definitely want to try to ignore it for a while. Yeah, mainly the route that I'm going to be explaining is the route that World Record uses, or a slight variation of it. So basically in the beginning you're just going to get these crates, like that. So yeah, just going to be utilizing the tap shot. Get these crates to the right. If you run out of ink, it's fine. You can just go to the bottom. Should have gotten to the bottom immediately. The route mainly just lets you get the ink tanks as fast as you can. And when you get the ink tank, come back up, get the left side. Then go back up here. You'll mainly save time of Squeezer by auto-firing as much as you can. Just like that. But that mostly just comes down to memorization and knowing where every crate is on the stage. So this corner shot can be kind of stressful, but basically there's 4 crates, one atop here, in the back, bottom, right. Tap shot those and you should be fine. Go top here. Now, as you're coming to here, you're going to actually get another ink tank, so as long as you utilize auto fire in the places where there's a group of boxes, you shouldn't really need it, but pick it up anyway. Drop down the left there, or you can just go down the center. Doesn't really matter. I think it's the third... Yeah, that's the third corner shot. You're just gonna get to the bottom here. So yeah, if you want to be completely 100% safe, you can just use tap shots and everything, and that's fine. But as you're getting better Squeezer, you definitely want to know when you're auto-firing and when you're not. And having the game sense to know if that's... I got bad shot RNG there, I'm not going to use auto-fire in that general area. Since we have enough ink, we can actually get this final corner shot right now. Final ink tank. There you go. That's a bit of a... kind of a sloppy explanation on some parts, but... hopefully that explains the mechanics a little better. Also, as a backup strat, the key spawns in that crate about right there. And if you want, if you feel screwed over with a certain crate, or you feel like it's getting a little bit too stressful, you can actually go right here and activate the checkpoint. What this will do is it'll save the spot of the statue right before you die. So if I hit that crate right now, I would respawn with the statue finished. Or wherever, if I was halfway or something. That's a casual strat, but... yeah, a little known backup. Hit the wall before you jump. Make sure to auto fire or tap fire, doesn't really matter. Since you don't have a bomb, I'm just gonna auto fire the data point, and that's the end of Matchmaster. Now we're getting into the boss fight. Alright, so this is the final stage before the first thing in the game. So, and a little thing I forgot to mention is with this route, you're getting Matchmaster and the boss fight out of the way, as well as both 8-ball stages, so you can go down if you want, but you're delaying Matchmaster a bit, which can be either good or bad, depending on how good you are in Matchmaster. I think the quick kills are actually pretty easy, but, with just basically learning the timing. But I've also played I've played competitive Splatoon for roughly 2 years before I retired, and I grinded this boss fight for possibly, 300 hours, so it's a bit biased, but I might demonstrate them. Maybe in an individualized tutorial. Yeah, just drift a bit far forward and boost once to get onto the platform. So for the purposes of this, I'm not going to demonstrate the quick kill. I'll, again, put that in a different video. We're going to be going into some pretty basic strats, which I think save a decent amount of time. So, also with the quick kill, it's a perfect quick kill, only saves about 8 to 7 seconds. Now for this first stage of the fight, you're gonna like go on top of the center pillar and ink the right. Like so. Also, which attacks he does in phase 2 and 3, like which special he pulls out, is RNG, but most of the time it doesn't really matter. Most of the time, if you die, it is your fault. So yeah, go on top of here. So there is a pattern for that. Basically, you hit one tentacle on the left, and as the back rotates, hit that. Then as the last one rotates, hit that. And your you see how my crosshair didn't really move much there. It was just more so reacting to what position they were at. And it's a lot easier than shooting from the bottom, because if you miss from the bottom, you are a lot more punished. And you'll start to move across the stage. Now, the reason that I'm moving to the right side of this pillar here is so he won't move to the corner of the stage. It can be kind of annoying. So again, just take the right side here, skip the boost pad. And this setup's actually pretty easy. So you're just going to hit both tentacles in the left. So 1, 2. As crosshair lights up, 3. Go to the right. Hit the boost pad. Now, if you miss, that's fine. I missed there because I mistimed it. Just come back and hit that. Bit of a hard shot. You're definitely not going to be doing that type of shot when you're starting out. But, if you struggle with the pillar, as long as you can predict where the tentacle is when he charges, you can time that, you're good to go. Everyone makes mistakes. It's probably the most important stage to go on the right side. If you go too far forward in the... If you go too far to the center on the pillar, he'll actually go to the corner in the bottom left. 1, 2, 3. boost pad. There you go. That was a bit delayed because I actually didn't boost pad off the center pillar, but hopefully that kind of gets the idea of, portrays the idea of what you need to be doing for this fight. Positioning is super important, and aim. Positioning and aim is the most important aspects of this boss fight. And obviously having the Inkjet movement down, you know, knowing when to boost off the pillar. Yeah, if you have like an okay boss fight, you should be getting sub 3 minutes most runs with an okay boss fight. And this is going to be the end of the tutorial soon. Now for the Thang stages, you can't really die, so just walk forward, hit the tunnel. And hit this balloon until you hear it explode. You want to stand right at the edge here, and then jump. Delay your jump a tiny bit, so you'll actually hit the bottom of the Thang immediately. That's the end of the beginning part of the game. The quote-unquote harder stages are out of the way. So yeah, you'll see when I get the first Thang. You'll get a little interlude with CQ80. And little time save is press plus and select back to train, and then you're smack dab in the middle of this again. So next episode we're going to cover Thang 2 and hopefully most of left side, and then we'll try to get into escape. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions on how to make this tutorial better or any personal questions, I try to stream every day. You can ask me in my stream or in my Discord. I'll link it in the description. So yeah, hope that helped you out and get some consistent strats to get your first run started.